the vast majority of human beings are afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Okay. We're also afraid of fire and spiders. Okay. So no, we're not going to have a tarantula event, and we already talked about firewalking. Okay.
Yeah.
Right up there also is public speaking. So we take that one on.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you just leave people in that exhilarated state, it wears off. Of course, it's natural,
Yeah.
but you've got to follow it up with a whole bunch of work, because it literally creates an opening through which they can step and create a new future for themselves. Right now, the point to all this was we've been doing that for years, and one of the things we believe is you can't teach something you don't do. So the challenge was, well, how do we go to our edge? Doing ropes courses, isn't it? We do those all the time. We build the silly things. So okay, one of the guys had a friend who had been to Africa, met these guys, people who might remember the old TV show Bonanza, like the Cartwrights.
Now you're dating yourself.
Exactly. Well, there's this family of 3 brothers who lived in Tanzania, and they were safari guides, and they lived in this big family compound, and he connected with them. And anyway, long story, we made an arrangement. We said to this, one of the brothers, we want to go someplace in the wild that's still wild. We want to see someplace on the planet that's still completely wild, where human beings haven't been before, at least not in any recent time, while there's still someplace like that left.
Yeah.
Right? So that was the mission. So there's 10, 11 of us.
Is this your internal team?
It was some of our team, and then just some of our kind of network.
Okay.
Okay. So we get there, it's a whole different world, right? Hello, baby. And first thing we did was just get used to being in Africa, just because the rhythm's different. I don't just mean the time zone, but just everything. The energy's different, the rhythm of the land, the people. So we went around to game parks for, better part of a week.
Yeah.
All right, now we're acclimated. Then the next phase was we spent 10 days, 2 weeks hiking in the Maasai land, right? So we were way out in the middle of nowhere, and we had a Maasai chief who was our guide.
Maasai, is that a tribe?
That's a tribe.
Okay.
And it was enriching and also humbling experience. So here we are, these guys, we look like the poster boys from REI, all this crap, and Nike sent us a bunch of stuff, thank you Nelson Ferris, and we had a whole gaggle of all this gear.
You look like a real hiker.
Oh, I swear to God,
real safari guy.
and we're up and down these hills, and after about 4 or 5 days, we look like the REI delivery truck. The back door had swung open at some point. Because crap, we're just leaving it out. I don't need this. I don't want that. This is too heavy.
Yeah, I bet you the locals may have took that back.
Oh,
and
trust
took the
me,
Nike gear.
we had some great moments. So this is how long ago this was. So I had a Sony Walkman with me, right? And I had a tape of Paula Abdul. There's a name you haven't heard for a while.
I love Paula. Forever your girl.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And so we're into these. We were way so far out that a lot of the people in these little bomas, these little tiny, that we can't even call them a village. These were like 3 or 4 family compounds, hadn't seen white people before. So they're like, mystified by us, and they were convinced that we were all rich, and we're trying to understand why they thought that. Because you're fat.
Oh yeah,
Because
you've been eating well.
that's the standard for rich, way out there. And I'm like, hey, excuse me, but anyway, so we got out there. This is Paula Abdul now. Let me stay on track here. And I took my headphones and put them on this little Maasai kid's ears and played Paula Abdul. And his face just went, oh. And he took off. He took off with my walk. No, he took off with my Walkman.
He's in love.
He's in love. He took off and he's playing it for everybody. And I'm thinking, well, there goes my Walkman, right? No, next day, we'd even moved on. He tracked us down, brought it back. The batteries were dead, but
he listened to every song.
He listened to every song repeatedly.
I hope there wasn't any pictures on that. Your Walkman of Paula Abdul.
Well, probably not, since Walkman didn't have pictures.
That must have been the 80s, because I remember
that's what I said, the 80s. You got to pay attention.
I know.
All right, so here we go. So we did these the trek with the Maasai, and what I was pointing to here was conversations with this guy. So here we are, all these big fancy guys, la 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 la. This guy is dressed in a tunic. He's 35 years old and a chief, which you think of some big physical compound, which it wasn't. The land doesn't sustain that concentration of population. He was more like a chief of a county, right? So there's all these little villages, but he was the guy.
I see.
Right? And he spoke 3 languages.
Not yours.
You know English,
Oh.
Swahili, and then the native Maasai tongue. Okay? So, and here we are, we're all kind of struggling just with English.
Yeah.
Right? So we got this guy's three, and just talking to him was absolutely fascinating. So we were talking about, in the Maasai culture, wealth is measured by the number of cows that you have. And they have these little, like mini Brahma cows. They're very small because, again, the land is rough. There's not a lot of forage, not a lot of water. And so we were talking to him, and I asked him, because my uncle was a cattle rancher, how many cows do you have? And he looks at me and he says, well, I don't know. And I'm thinking, well, how can you be a cattle rancher? I don't even know how many cows you have. So, I kind of go back and forth. And he says, well, for us, it's like this. When you go for a holiday and you're having a family reunion, he says, do you count all your relatives? No. He says, but if someone's missing, right?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Bingo.
Yeah.
Right? And, we had all these absolutely fascinating conversations. So great, we did that. And then the final part of the trip, kind of the hallmark, or the whole point, was these guys had scouted this place inside a game preserve, a national park, actually, inside a national park, where allegedly there was no human habitation, etc. And we were going to drive for 3 days in these Land Rovers to get there. And we're driving over the Serengeti, and we're having flashbacks or fantasies of Erwin Rommel Desert Fox, because it's just dust clouds everywhere. You had to wear goggles and bandanas over your face, and you just filthy, right?
Yeah.
And hours on hours, and there's this constant wrestling match to see who had to sit in the middle seat, because that sucked. And
sounds like the perfect vacation.
Oh yeah, it gets better. So we drive for 3 days. We get to where we're going to jump off, right? And we pull into this little community, and there's a guy there, and he meets us, and it is explained to us that this is a game warden, and he's going to go with us. And we're kind of thinking, well, why? We're not hunting or anything. And then they explained to us, well, he's not actually going for your interest. You're going to protect him. Wait a minute, what? He says, well, this is the wonders of Africa.